in the personality disorder chapter, and we're gonna touch on pyromania and kleptomania. So, oppositional defiant disorder. These guys are just angry. They're angry all the time. They hate others. They want to get even. These guys have problems with authority, their criminal activity. They deliberately will annoy you, vindictive, argumentative, hateful, okay? Conflicts with everyone. And if this starts at an early childhood time, these guys are the ones who don't do well in school and they ditch all the time. They're just all about opposing structure and opposing all the rules, okay? And there are severity levels to this, okay? Mild, moderate, severe. So if it's mild, their irritability and their anger is confined to one setting, okay? Maybe just at home, okay? If they're at a moderate level, then their behavior, the irritable, angry, vindictive behavior, is confined to two settings, maybe home and work, okay? Now, if it's severe, it's three or more. They're always like this, okay? These guys on the unit are the ones who are constantly yelling, constantly fighting with others, just getting into arguments. You know, they don't care. They'll break rules. So, if your patient is yelling and escalating, remember to decrease the stimuli and accompany the client, the patient, to a quiet area. Don't leave them alone, okay? Because these guys, like I said, they're you leave them alone while they're really angry, they'll they'll hurt themselves, okay? So this is all about being there for them, decreasing stimuli. They're already very angry, okay? Make sense, guys? You guys are alive, right? And then we have conduct disorder. Conduct disorder. We talked about this. These are the guys who eventually possibly become serial killers. Behavior is aggressive. They bully, they threaten, they intimidate others. They start physical fights. Rights of others are violated. Societal norms are disregarded. They don't care. It's all about them. Okay? Academic failure, school suspensions, dropouts, drug, juvenile court involvement. So it starts at a very young age. Remember I told you about the kid who um, took a spatula and beat his grandparents? He had conduct disorder. You guys remember that, right? So the difference between this and oppositional defiant disorder, these guys, they will hurt others. They will hurt others. They will do it. They don't care. These are the guys who kill animals. Okay? I just love this picture. So it's usually childhood onset or adolescent onset. Okay? These guys can have pyromania or kleptomania, but I don't know why this is included on the slide. I don't know why I didn't delete it. Ignore these two bullet points for this slide. These are impulse control. This is impulse control. So conduct disorder can be childhood onset and adolescent onset. There's severity levels. Okay, if it's mild, if it's just starting out, right? They're lying. They're truancies. They stayed out after dark without permission. They'll break rules. They'll ditch class. If it's just mild, they're not yet hurting others physically. If it's moderate, they start to vandalize. They'll steal, but without letting the victim know. Okay? And then if it's severe, I mean, they'll have a weapon. They'll hold it, up against the victim they're trying to hurt or vandalize from. Okay? These guys rape. These are the perpetrators. Okay? These are the ones who will possibly commit murder, hurt animals. Okay, I think this is worse than oppositional defiant disorder because this involves hurting people, obviously. Okay. Intermittent explosive disorder, road rage. Anyone have road rage? Conduct is the worst. Yes, it is. If you live in Glendale or LA, you either have road rage or you experience people having road rage. Okay. verbally aggressive, inability to control aggressive impulses. These guys have criminal issues too. Okay, occupational difficulties, interpersonal relationships. I mean, road rage, explosive at any moment, like any moment. Okay. Um, the main pointer of this is the verbal aggression. They're all about cussing you out. F you, F this, F everyone. Okay? Then they just can't control it. They can't. And what will get them are just minor things. So it's not like someone who doesn't know how to drive for the life of them. It could be just anything. Like I can put my phone here and it'll irritate them and they'll cuss me out. That's that one. Impulse control. So impulse control is where you have an itch you gotta scratch, and if you don't, you will have anxiety. And we're gonna cover two of them: pyromania and kleptomania. Okay. Underlying issues, the comorbidities that can be attached to this: ADHD, anxiety, depression, a bunch of psychiatric problems. Okay, and this has a lot to do with diathesis stress model, genetics versus nature, and nature versus nurture. Okay, so let's go over pyromania. I think this is kind of cool. Pyromania. Deliberate and purposeful fire setting on one or more occasions. So they'll do it for free, okay? And they get a kick out of watching things burn. Okay, they're fascinated, they're curious, and they get this type of high before they even set it on fire. Okay, and the fire is not done for monetary gain. We actually had a patient on the unit who set her parents' car on fire. And she was like, I loved it. I'll do it again when I leave. Crazy, huh? They just get pleasure out of it. Pleasure. Yeah. They love it. They love it. There's this one picture, it's like a meme of like a girl, like a little blonde girl, and she's kind of looking back and smiling in this funny way. It kind of reminds me of like pyromania. How are they treated? It's all behavioral. Cognitive behavioral therapy. If they're anxious, we treat the anxiety. If they're depressed, we treat that. There's no specific. It's all about therapy. All about therapy and behavior. Yeah. It's insane. The Office fans. Do you guys remember this? Obviously he's not a pyromaniac, but I thought of pyromania when I saw. Do you guys remember this episode? Yeah. He's so cool. He's got so many problems, but he's really cool in this episode. I love it. Today smoking's gonna save lives. Literally, he deliberately set the place on fire. Kleptomania. Failure to resist impulses to steal objects that are not needed for personal use or for monetary gain. And Winona Ryder, you guys know that actress? She's got kleptomania. Yeah. It was all over the news at one point, no? Like a while back. So they get this anxiety and tension right before they want to steal, and if they don't steal it, this anxiety is not going to leave them. Okay? And they're not angry. They're not stealing because they're angry or they're vengeful. Okay? It's not because they're hallucinating. And they'll steal like pens. Okay? And like spoons. It's things that they just don't need. That's impulse control. Kleptomania. And I have this lovely slide here because it's probably so they do it to relieve anxiety. Yeah, they do. Same thing with pyromania. If they don't set it on fire, they're just not going to be calm. They have to do it. Insane. So it's probably on your final, which is why I include this. The difference: ODD, opposition defiant, fight against authority, loses temper, hostile, blames others. Okay, fight against being controlled. Right? Don't tell me what to do. That's what conduct, they will hurt others. Okay? Lack of empathy, stealing, destruction, hurting people, animals, and violating others' rights. Okay, that's the main difference. That's it.